Welcome back to Beauty Gains episode 18. Curly is back.
Hi, I missed you all.
Even though Rue was such a good stand-in.
He was great. I'm very proud.
It was so helpful.
I missed you guys though.
But now we're back.
We are back.
And Curly, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about how to learn to be alone with yourself.
Opposed to being alone with someone else. But we're also going to talk about
bad
being,
company, like all that fun
you
stuff.
can also, well, I guess you can't be alone with somebody else, but being able to be around somebody without having to feel
like you're
the
alone.
anxiety of we need to be talking, we need to be doing this, why is it, all the things that think about, just being calm and being able to embrace what you're doing, whether it's by yourself, with somebody else.
And I feel like
tone down the anxiety.
I feel like so many people just always feel like the need to have to be with people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just get all of their emotions around you and then you really don't sit with yourself.
Yeah. So what are some ways, because I know you've been doing a lot of it lately, what are some ways that you like to decompress by yourself?
So, I mean, lately I've just been kind of struggling. I've told you guys about this. My grandpa's in the hospital, but I just kind of needed to separate myself from people and just really like be alone and be with my own emotions and just kind of figure it all out, because I feel like if I'm with people and they're complaining to me about their life or something going on and I'm going through something, like they're not going to get the best of me. Like, and I've said to one of my friends, because she called me, her talked, and she's like, we have like this like code where if we're both going through something and I need to vent about something, I'll say like, how are you doing? Can you handle what I'm about to lay on you to give me advice? And like that's where a lot of my friends are. And I have to say, like, shout out to my friends for like even just being there for me and respecting when I do need to be alone and not overly like needing me and calling me all the time. And like they understand where I'm like, hey, like I'm just having a week right now, like I want to be alone. Like I'll sit and read a book, clean. I love cleaning. I cleaned my whole room, my bathroom, reorganize things, and honestly just trying to just get myself in like a better, more positive place. So.
And that's how you brought up like when you're going through something and when somebody else needs help, and there's always a struggle between like, I really want to help this person, I know they're going through something, but I'm going through something, so I don't truly have the mental capacity to do it. And same thing like with you, like right now there's a lot going on with my niece. My niece is like back and forth in and out of the hospital, getting blood work done, getting all these tests done. We don't know what's going on. And I know that it's high stress on my sister. My sister doesn't deal well with it at all. And my mom is even worse. So then my mom is bothering my sister. And then my sister's just trying to take care of everything. And then both are to me. And I'm trying to, in my mind, my sister needs the most help. My mom needs to
just back off
and understand, like, we get it. It's your granddaughter. You want everything. But at the same time, when it's not directly, not that it's not directly affecting my mother, but like you're not in the like front lines of it and somebody else is trying to take care of it. And then you throw in extra stress because you also don't know like what's going on. You need to know what's going on. You're just adding more stress to that other person when they're trying to handle something. Yeah. So when it comes to dealing with certain things, like and then I was talking to my one friend about it yesterday, and he's like, well, why are you stressed out? I'm like, I'm stressed out because I'm trying to make sure my sister is okay. And in turn, making my mom leave my sister alone. So both of them stop stressing out. So both of them stop putting stress elsewhere. And they're like, well, how is that fair for you? I'm like, it's not about being fair. Like, it's not my direct issue. It's somebody else's issue that needs help.
Yeah.
And whether you're having a bad day or not, obviously they are too. But there's always that fine line between, does somebody genuinely need your help in more than it's affecting you? So that's like where I'm at right now, is like, it is stressful, but my sister's probably way more stressed out than I am.
Exactly. Yeah.
So even though I'm stressed out because it's my niece is sick, and you never want to hear that, but at the same time, like, my sister's stress is way higher. Yeah. And in turn, it's like making me stressed out because I want everything to be okay and I'm trying to make her okay.
And then on top of that, you're trying to work too. And that's a struggle that I was facing, where I was in a mood where I'm just trying to make sure my grandma's okay. I'm getting her to work and I'm making sure my family's okay. Yeah. And then I also have to answer emails and then I have to answer my DMs and then I have to post things because if I don't post, then people aren't going to realize like I'm doing tanning. And like, it's just, it's all of it.
Yeah. It's overwhelming. Just gets overwhelming. Because your life doesn't stop when other people are going through some things and you want to be there for them. But at the same time, you're like, I can't stop my life in order to be there all the time, because like we just said prior, it's not directly like I'm not there with my niece in the hospital. I can't be there with my niece in the hospital. And so me being over here, it's like, what can I actually be doing? So I'm trying to pay attention to my day, but also make sure that I'm on call if my sister, God forbid, needs anything. Something. So like those things are,
and it just gives you an anxiety because you're always by your phone.
Right. And those things are very, I don't want to say like random percentage that's going to happen. So it is like, there are some times where you, in my opinion, you do have to suck it up. You do have to take on the stress from somebody else if you genuinely care about them, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But there are other times where it's like, okay, if this person is stressed out over something stupid or whatever, and you're actually going through something. So let's say that right now I'm going through family issues and somebody would text me and be like, oh my God, like my boyfriend hasn't texted me in like 2 days.
You're like, I'm care.
Not. Yeah. That's where my boundary is going to be, because I don't have the mental capacity to deal with your boyfriend not texting you in a day when my niece has some sort of whatever going on. All of my energy needs to go into that, not into other people.
And honestly, that's when I go through things like this, like my friends are kind of like, they didn't really know how to handle this with me because they've never, I'm always that friend that I'm there for everybody. I talk to all my friends. I check in on them weekly.
Right.
My friends literally barely heard from me. So they were like, we don't know this side of you.
Right.
Like, cause I haven't experienced this, like minus my grandma 9 years ago, when she passed away. And now like, it's just kind of like I'm in a different place now. And I'm just more so like just trying to make sure everyone else is okay, that I had to really like go like, okay, like shut your phone off for a little bit, sit with yourself, cry. It's fine to cry and just figure it out. And and a lot of my friends, I really got to see who's truly like there for me in these situations and who I now going forward want to give more of my energy to, because I see when push comes to shove, like I'm always there for you. I never ask for anything. So now when I actually ask for something, like I need you to like step up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, I also feel like I don't like to be a burden to my friends. So I won't really ask them for like anything. And they'll be like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. And they're like, but you're not. So just admit you're not. And then I started to just suck it up. I'm like, you know what? I'm not. I'm really not okay. Yeah. And I need this week by myself. Yeah. And I really, when I obviously didn't cancel any of my tans or anything. And I like stuck with that. But the things that I could kind of manage to get away with not doing just to be alone, I did. And that's why I wasn't here last week, guys, or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And that's what we keep saying to you every time where you were in the hospital or something like that. Like, a podcast is a podcast. If you're stressed out and it's just not something to do, like there are certain things that you don't have to like suck up and get along with. Like things will be taken care of. Like in your absence, take care of what you need to. And I think that a lot of people feel like the pressure to not take a mental break or not take time to themselves because the world is so like work driven. And if you're not doing something, or if you're taking a day off, or if you're, like you said, if you're not on social media, like promoting yourself, like you're doing yourself a disservice. Like you can't, there's no time off. But it's just like the tip that I'm going to give later on about deloading and taking a break. Like, you know, when you get to a certain point where you literally just need to be left alone and be alone and just not intake any sort of external energy from anybody else, whether it's positive or negative, especially the negative, but just other people putting their thought into something. Or if you're trying to be by yourself, you're trying to calm yourself down, think things through, just get a clear mind. And then you have other people that they're saying their opinion, or you're asking for help, or so, and then you get all of this different thought process going through your head,
and you're just like, oh my God, let me just sit with my own thoughts. And that's why that's why I have to take time to be alone. And I'm honest, like if you caught me a couple years ago, I probably would have been like, friends come over. I want to see my friends, like whatever. Now I'm like, no, like like being alone with myself really helps me just gain clarity to like get back in that positive mindset, get back to work, keep pushing through, and just, it's life. You have to just keep going.
Yeah. And I think that there are times where you like to be distracted and you like to be surrounded by people who care about you and can keep your mind off of things. But the distraction only works for so long.
And it's all about even just who you're surrounding yourself with. Because if I'm going through something, I'm going to go hang out with one of my friends that I know is constantly complaining about something, like then I'm going to start constantly complaining about something, and I don't want to be that person versus hang out with my friends that we can sit there in silence and just watch a show. Yeah. And like just having that company alone is like fine for me.
Yeah. And that's what happened back when, I hate bringing it up all the time, but back when my ex was murdered, and my roommate at the time, I think I spoke about this at that point too, was that person who was like, oh, like he's always going to be with you, this. And like, that's not how I operate. And I just wanted to be by myself, and people mean so well, but you need to kind of verbalize without getting angry, like nasty to somebody that like they don't know how you operate. Like it's all about, we talked about last episode, communicating to people the boundaries that you have, or I know that like I appreciate your concern, but I just need to be by myself. And then people, okay, I understand. But like I was saying with my mom before, my mom is the number one person who is like, I just need to be left alone. And then every 5 minutes, she'll still text you, are you okay? What are you doing? Do you need anything? And it's like, holy fuck. And then they get upset when
you're not giving them that answer.
You're just like, no, I don't need anything. I need you to leave me alone. Oh, well, and she gets super butthurt. Yeah. That you want to be left alone and that she can't help you. And I think that people want to help you so bad because they want to reciprocate what you would do for them. But it's like, sometimes you just need to listen when somebody says, all I need is to be left alone. Yeah. And people need to stop thinking further into it as, oh, she's saying that, but I know that that's not what she wants. Yeah. If somebody is saying something to you, especially when they're going through something or they need that time alone, they want that time alone, the last thing you need to do or should be doing is trying to smother that person because you have anxiety for them. Yeah. Like you don't want that person to be hurting. You don't want that person to be alone during a time where they should need somebody. If somebody says that they need their time alone, they need their time alone, and you should respect it.
100%.
Because you're just going to drive them more nuts.
Yeah. I agree.
Literally nuts.
Oh, yeah. And my friends, they definitely know that. Like, if I say, like, all right, I need somebody, like, my friends, I love them so much. Shout out to them. But literally, like, I don't cry in front of anybody. I usually, like, get a nice little shower cry. Yeah. So
Courtney was going to come straight from hospital on... It's Wednesday right now. On Monday, get a shower cry in.
Yeah, and I was just gonna
drink some wine in the shower while she cried, and then come to record. And we're like, no, we're not gonna record today because you're gonna go home.
Yeah, because you know what it is too. Like, I don't want to disappoint anybody, and like that's where like my work ethic comes in, where I'm like, but this is what I have to do. Yeah. Instead of just being like, okay, like no, just take a step back, like just breathe, like relax.
Yeah, and there are times where you should suck it up. Like again, like if you're. The example that I said before, if your boyfriend's not talking to you for 2 fucking days and you're upset about it, that's not an excuse to fucking put life aside. Yeah. If you have somebody who's ill and you're taking care of something and it's mentally draining on you that way, there's a difference in things. And we've spoken prior about how in perspective things affect people differently. So the worst thing that's ever happened to you might be that your boyfriend broke up with you. When in comparison, you're talking to somebody who just like had a grandparent die. I just had 2 people I knew overdose and die. Like now my niece is in the hospital. So everybody deals with different life events that they need to be picked up by. So if you're going to approach somebody and you don't know what they're going on and they ask you, hey, please, like I cannot speak to you about this. I know that you're upset, but I need to put up this boundary right now because I'm going through a bunch of shit myself. Yeah. and I literally will not be any help to you. If anything, I'm going to make you feel worse.
Yeah. And it's also where you are mentally too, because you have to, in putting up boundaries, setting boundaries for friendships and whatever. Like, that's why I like to ask my friends, like, are you mentally okay that I can vent to you? My friends know I don't ask for advice. I just need to vent, and then I do whatever I want to do anyway. I just need someone to sit there and listen.
Yeah.
And if I know that they're going through something, I'm not going to call them.
Yeah.
I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to deal with myself. Honestly, I got into journaling again, and that helped me a lot. Just like writing things down and going back. I actually went back and like read old things that I wrote down, and I was like, wow, like that to me now, I'm like, would have gotten over that real quick.
Yeah. So we kind of just went on a tangent about what we've been going through in the past couple of weeks ourselves, and why we, or you subconsciously wanted to talk about being alone. Because all this shit's happening. So when it comes to having time on your own, what times besides something like this that's happening, what other times do you feel like people need to take time to be alone, or when people should be like looking to be around people? What do you think is a difference in that?
I think, me personally, when I know I'm going through something, I don't want to be around people just because I don't want to bring my negative energy in and ruin someone else's day with like things going on in my life, because I don't know what they're going through, you know? Me though, without this stuff going on, I always try to take at least like one day of the week where it's like, even if it's a half a day, 2 hours just to myself. If I'm going to like get a facial, if I'm going to get a manicure, like just something, even if it's just me sitting in my room and reading a book. Yeah. I just try to do something that I know is good for me. Like I got back into watching sermons again. They're an hour long. I'll watch them while cleaning or like listening to them with my AirPods. Like that helps me. So I just try to have that, because alone time really just like helps you gain clarity on like what's going on in your life and the battles that you're fighting, how it's going to get you through them.
I think that because me and Emily share an apartment, but we are not on the same schedule at all. So she's asleep like an hour before I even get home from work at night. She's up way prior to me. She is out going to the gym in the morning before I even wake up. And then half the time have left the apartment to come to work. So we're never really cross paths, maybe for like 30 minutes to an hour. And then I never thought that I was going to have a roommate, and then just things worked out that way. And we always said to each other, we're the only people that we would live with, besides like later on if we have a significant other. Significant. Maleficent. Significant.
Good. I actually just watched that.
Did you?
I love that movie.
Because we both love our alone time. We both love, like, when we're in the apartment, it's probably after a very long day and we just want to decompress. And it's not like we're bitchy and we're like, don't talk to me. Like, if we're both out of our rooms, we'll talk, we'll stand in the kitchen, we'll have like a meal together. But we both know that the type of people we are, we love our alone time. And even if we're watching the same fucking show, we're not out in the living room. We don't even have a living room TV. We have TVs in our bedroom. Most of the time we're just reading or doing something. But it's that boundary that was not even set. It was just kind of known, and we just kind of kept with it. So a lot of people are like, oh, you guys spend so much time together. You're in the apartment together. You like work out together. You go to jujitsu together. I probably see my roommate the least amount of any person in my life.
Wow.
Doesn't mean that we're not close, because we are, but that's just how the type of people we are. So when I get home and she's like not there for the day and the weekend because she's out doing her own thing, I put the fucking YouTube on. I start putting on a playlist. I'm cleaning. And when you're by yourself, you can be the weirdest fucking human being. And I think that it just helps you get out this energy that needs to get out, that like after a long week of dealing with people and dealing with personalities, like especially in our fields, you just kind of get wound up. And you're just like, what? I don't even know half the stories that I've been fucking listening to.
Oh my God, I know.
So then
like everything just starts like morphing together and I'm like, wait, what did they say?
I have the weirdest fucking dreams, because I think it's just how many different types of people and energies are around me that I'm just like, my brain has just started to develop
Literally.
into like a made up tale.
Yeah. After I work weddings, I'm like alone time. Nobody talk to me because I'm sitting in front of their face doing their makeup, and I'm like soaking in all their energy.
Yeah. So I swear, if there was a camera on me in my apartment,
I'd be so embarrassed.
Weird as shit.
Yeah.
You're like,
singing, dancing.
You have pants on, you don't have a shirt on, you have one sock on, you have a fucking beanie that's falling off your head, and you look like somebody tried to rob you as you're like bopping around, cleaning, and you're doing these random dances, you're talking to yourself, you're making noise, like the weirdest shit you do when you're alone. But that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get your best release, is when you're just, I want to make this noise. I want to do this. I want to do this. Fuck it. And it's open range.
Yeah. So it's so funny. It's so funny we're talking about this because it was like a couple weeks ago. I thought I was alone in the house, and my dad loves to scare me. You guys
were naked?
No. Oh my God. I died.
Naked? Your dad
no, I was dancing and singing in my room, like full-blown concert in my room. And I'm putting my laundry away, and my dad snuck up the stairs. And he pops out and scares me, and I'm embarrassing, singing, dancing, and I turn around and I saw him, and I'm like, I literally wanted to crowl in a shell. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no. I went downstairs. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. He's like, great vocals there.
My favorite times are, and again, it's not that I don't like being around people. I'm just around people all of the time.
Yeah.
So when you finally get to, and it's not like we're not weird here. This is probably the fucking group of weirdest human beings that can be in one building. But you literally
as I'm taking off my shoe to get comfy over here.
I think I just have this sweatshirt on. I don't think I have anything under it. But you're just home alone, and you can do the most random shit. You're like, all right, I'm cleaning. Now I'm not cleaning anymore. Now I'm sitting and watching. Now I don't have the attention span to do that. So now I'm going to go and do this. And now I don't feel like doing any of it. Now I want to listen to this. Now I'm going to blast this. I'm going to put this on. You need alone time in order to just fucking release.
Yes.
And people that constantly need to be around other people, or constantly need to be on their phone texting somebody, I feel like they're just trying to avoid being alone, because they don't know how to. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to sit.
And it's almost like you need that codependency of another person to help you.
Yeah.
It depends on the situation. There's some times where I'm like, I just need someone to be suck it up. You're going to be fine. Yeah. And then there's times where I just need someone to sit there and just let me cry to you. Yeah. That's it.
The other day I was in here, and again, a few of my friends in the past couple of weeks have overdosed. And I was in here about to deadlift, and I got a text message. It was a good text message, but one of those good text messages that makes you super upset because of whatever. It was somebody texting me thanking me for introducing one of my friends to jiu-jitsu, because it was the best days of his lives, blah, blah, blah. So I start hysterically crying, and the guys are out there, and they just dead stop moving, and they're all looking around. They're like, Jess is crying. I don't know what to do. Jess is crying. So then one of them just hugged me. Didn't say anything to me, just hugged me. So of course it makes me cry even harder, because now this human being is hugging me. Yep. But then after I was done, and we just moved on. So we keep talking about boundaries, and we keep talking about allowing yourself to be okay being around people, but also the people that you choose to be around need to know how you operate in a way. And then other people that are maybe new into your life, just being no, I don't need it. And then people start to learn that about you, to the point where, we just said, people are I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to do.
That was literally some of my friends. One of my friends' moms, she asked me how I was doing, and she didn't know what was happening, and she's like, "Oh, how are you doing? What's going on? Haven't talked to you. Are you okay?" And I'm very close with her, so when she just said, "Are you okay?" I just broke down. She just just so there goes, "What's happening?" And I'm and then I broke down, and I told her, and she just came over and hugged me. She's just rub my back. It's going to be fine. And I'm well, that's all I needed.
Yeah, that's it. So that, I think it was the day after I heard that my friend had passed away, I texted the staff chat here because I found out on a Tuesday night, and then I like cried the entire night.
Yeah.
And then came to work because I'm not going to not come to work. And I texted the group chat and I was like, if I seem tired or sad or spaced out, do not ask me if I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I will be fine. Just let it go.
Yeah.
I walk in the back here. Tut is sitting where you were sitting.
Mm-hmm.
I opened the door, was not expecting him to be there. I also hadn't seen Tut for like a week, which is weird because I see Tut more than I see mostly anybody.
Yeah.
So I walk in and he just looks at me and he's like, hi. And I was like, hi, Tut. And he's like, how you doing? It's just like, I didn't know what to do. I knew that you told me not to ask you if you were okay, but you walked in and I hadn't seen you, and I was just like, okay, how are you? And then I start bawling, crying. He's like, shit. He's like, if you start crying, I'm gonna start crying. So fucking Christ. So anytime I cry, Rue and Tut always yell at me. They're like, if you cry, you know I'm gonna cry, and I don't want to cry, so please don't cry.
Yeah.
But there are certain times where you just have to kind of stop being so tough, I guess you could say.
And that's
just
always been
hug.
hard for me.
You don't have to talk.
Yeah.
If someone's gonna just accept the hug.
Yeah.
Just arms down to the side.
Just accept it. I know that's always hard for me because I'm like, everything's fine. And then I'm like, you know what? Just because then when you say what I do, I feel like I'll be like, yeah, it's fine. And then I'm like, why aren't you reaching out to me to see how I'm doing?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I just told you I'm fine. And like that used to be a fight for me with like some people where I'm like, why didn't you reach out to me? And they're like, but you just said you were fine. So we thought you were fine. And I'm like, but obviously I'm not fine. They're like, so just say it. And I'm like, you're right. I'm sorry. And then now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get vulnerable and really.
And there are some people, that's the other fucked up thing is like, there are certain people we want to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And there are majority of the people that you don't. So then when they ask you, the people that usually the people that you want to talk to you are the ones that are kind of knowing the most of you. So those are the ones that are going to leave you alone. And you're like, but not you. Yeah. You I need to talk to, but you want it to be alone, but not from you.
Yeah.
I need you to reach out to me.
Yeah.
Because you are somebody that I know isn't going to bother me about it. You're just going to sit there and you're just going to, because for me, I just need somebody to act normal, but like still talk to me.
Yeah.
So the whole distraction thing again is like, I need somebody to take me out of that mindset of whatever I'm in. And I think that's why the whole being alone thing throws people, because you do want a distraction, because whatever you're going through, whether it be a breakup or a death or just anything traumatic to you, you're trying to have your alone time because you're trying to kind of weed out what your thoughts are, what your feelings are, how you're going to make yourself feel better, what's your next step. And sometimes when you're lost in all of that and you're not coming to any conclusions, well, now what am I doing? I'm just sitting sad. So now I need somebody to talk to. I need somebody to be around me. And then Rue the other day, and it's such a stupid statement that I made because it doesn't make sense. But Rue the other day, once I was sad about, for what I think when other people around me pass away, it automatically reverts me back to my ex. And then I rethink about my ex dying. And then I go through all these different things. Like the other night, I read a bunch of poems that like he wrote me. And then I read a bunch of handwritten notes that he had wrote me.
And just like brought you back.
I just made myself sad.
Yeah.
But
sometimes I do that too. And there's sometimes where like you kind of need that because you're stronger than the last time you went through it, if that makes sense.
And then with it, I told him when I made myself sad from reading all of those things and like made myself pretty much cry. Like there was no reason that I went back into that journal and read poems that he wrote me.
Yeah.
It's been over 10 years since he passed away. But I decided that night I had my period. So that's never a thing. But making myself sad and making myself cry and having, I think that sometimes it's like listening to a sad song when you're already sad.
Yeah.
You're trying to push yourself over this threshold to, okay, I'm kind of sad, I'm sitting on it. If I make myself even sadder, I'm going to finally cry and get the release that I needed in order to kind of move on from this state of being.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did it, I was talking to Rue the next day. Oh, because I texted him and I asked him if he was awake. And I feel like sometimes you pick random people for random things. So like I know that Rue, if I was to reach out and like tell him about it, that he would say something, he would try to be nice and whatever, but he would also know that I would need to laugh. So I think that he would say some dumb shit to make me laugh. And I think that's why I reached out to him. I also feel like we try not to use the same person over and over again.
Yeah.
So maybe like this time I was sad, I reached out to Rue, but the last time I was sad, I reached out to Tut, or the last time before that, I reached out to Emily. So you almost try to not overuse people, so they're not like, oh my God, Jess is sad again.
Yeah.
Why is this bitch always sad lately? I'm so tired of it. But again, it's kind of thinking about people's boundaries. I'm not going to continue to bother the same person over and over again.
Because then you don't want to, like, let's say like I came to you and I complained about every little thing, then I'm going to walk through the door and be like, here we go.
Oh my
what
God.
Is she going to
what
complain
is she sad about again?
Yeah.
And you like beeline over to the same person. But I looked at him and I saw him the next day and he was like, what did you need? Well, I was like, it's fine. Like, it's over with, like, whatever. But I was like, I texted you because I realized, like, I don't have friends to reach out to about this. And he looked at me, he's like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I like, it's just all these things. Like when you're alone and you're sad, you're like, I don't have any friends to talk to about this. No one would understand what, meanwhile, you have so many people that you can reach out to. But when you're just engulfed in it, like, I'm so alone. And I think that that's why people get sad when they don't have a significant other, because you feel alone because you don't have somebody direct like that. Like if you don't have like a girl best friend or a best friend to reach out to, or again, you like to keep things to yourself, you get to this spiral of, well, I'm alone. Well, you're not alone. You're choosing not to reach out to people.
Yeah.
So are you enjoying your time by yourself? Are you being productive on it? Or do you need a little distraction to get you out of this sadness? And then once you're out of the sadness, then you can start to genuinely grow in your own thoughts.
Yeah.
So I think there's like this, there's always a balance and there's always a battle on things, on being alone or wanting to be with somebody. And my one girlfriend brought this up yesterday, that when we're by ourselves, people think that we have to be lonely and have to be alone, because your ultimate goal in life should be to find a spouse and a significant other and a partner. And when you don't have it, especially when you're getting older, people are like, aren't you lonely? Like you should really be thinking about like settling down. Are you going to grow old and then you're not going to have a family and you're going to be alone old?
I would rather like, be alone than force myself to be with someone that's not good for me, where you end up actually feeling more alone.
Right. And you're lonely, but you're with somebody that's supposed to care about you. It's almost more hurtful.
And it goes back to conversations we've had about relationships and dating. Like people ask, like, why are you still single? Like whatever. I'm like, I choose to be single. Can I probably go meet someone and date someone? Like, yeah, I'm sure. But why am I going to go settle when I know I'm not where I want to be in my life, where I'm going to be fully, completely happy, where like I'm focused on me and growing like glow and just like myself? That like, why am I going to add someone to that? And they'll be like, well, when you date the right person, they're going to add to it. I go, yeah, but you have to be fine with yourself first. And that's where alone time really got very important for me. Yeah. Where I was spending alone time with myself, even just doing my makeup, looking at myself in the mirror, built my confidence up. So like I can be able to be that confident that like I don't need someone adds value to my life.
Right. And at this point, as I keep saying, we're getting older, but at this point, people have all been through something.
Exactly.
And I think when people jump from like relationship to relationship just to fill a void, or they don't like being alone, or they don't like being by themselves because they don't want to deal with their past, or they don't want to deal with their demons,
more lonely.
You're going to just add more stress into any relationship you go into if you haven't worked on yourself. But then a lot of people are like, even for me, how do I work on myself? You think about it, and I'm like, what are steps that I can do to work on myself when I'm not dating somebody, because I'm not dating anybody anymore. And I'm not seeking to date anybody anymore, because
we're about to make this a dating show, a dating podcast. 2 single co-hosts.
So then it goes, because of the person that I was seeing and how it kind of took my mental capacity to a place where I was just not happy anymore. And I was constantly being stressed out from trying to keep this other person happy, when I was looking at it and I'm like, he's not a bad person at all. He's a great person, needs to be alone, needs to work on himself more. And when you tell somebody else that they need to work on themselves, they either take it and they're like, you're right, I do, or they take it offensively, either way. But if you are dating somebody, and even for yourself, and you notice that outside things from just you two are putting strain on you, yeah, you can tough through it, whatever, and try to force it and then hope that it changes as you go on. Or at that point, you need to decide, like, I need to work on myself a lot. You also seem like you need to work on yourself too. So maybe this is not the right time for us. And that's okay. Because if you're both trying to make each other happy, but you're still unhappy from something else that happened prior, it's just going to be a fucking head bash.
Yeah.
All the time.
I always say too, like, you almost kind of have to just be your own cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know, like, you almost have to, like, be able to get yourself through something. And because then I just feel like I'm a burden to somebody else, like, because I don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
So, like, I say to, when I give advice to someone that's going through something, like, I can't get you through what you're going through. Like, you're the one that has to get through it. I can only sit here and just pretty much hold your hand through it and let you vent and let you do what you need to do. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, you're the person that is going to get yourself through your battles, because I don't feel the emotions. Yeah. Like, nobody feels each other's emotions. What you've gone through that may be, like, small, maybe huge for me, something that I went through, you may look at it and be like, really? Like, why are you upset? But, like, it's just a matter of, like, no matter what people say, you're the one that has to be your own cheerleader to get yourself through it.
And what we were talking about prior still goes into relationships too. If somebody that you're with is going through something and they need time, I think people get a little anxious as to, well, he's my boyfriend or she's my girlfriend or whatever people call each other now, whatever you fucking decide. But I think that we get anxiety that we are the ones that need to help them. Like, I care about this person. I love this person. I need to help them. What can I do to help you? And then you take on their emotions. You take on their energy rather than just letting them cool off, letting them work through it themselves. You're like, well, I don't like to see you upset. What can I do? I hate seeing you like this. That person doesn't want to feel those emotions. So you constantly being on them as to, how can I help? How can I help? I don't like seeing you sad. I don't like seeing you sad. Why do you shouldn't be alone right now. Let me come in and help you. Let me come in this. Do you need this? Do you need this? And somebody is telling you, like, I need time. Literal time. The more that you try to smother somebody who tells you, I need time, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with us. I just need a step back from humans in general. You can't in turn become the anxious person. You can't in turn become the sad person that your boyfriend or girlfriend told you that they needed a day to themselves. Hey, I'm having a really rough day. Like, I just need to be with my own thoughts. I just need to be by myself. Well, I want to help. Let me help you.
And I feel like, I mean, I could see, like, girls' perspective too, and like that, where they're like, oh, my boyfriend talks to me 24/7, and like, why doesn't he want to talk to me today? Like, what is he going through? Like, he just on his myriad. He just needs time.
Where is he? There
right
he is.
There. You know, like, and it goes back to even what you guys were talking about in the podcast of if you think that a relationship's gonna always be good all the time, like you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. It's not. You're gonna have days where you don't want to talk.
If you plan on being with this person for years, forever, there are gonna be days where he or she does not want to fucking talk to you.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And if you give them the space, they're going to appreciate it so much more that you know them so well that you don't need the affirmation of you fixing them.
Yeah.
Or you making them feel better. As long as they feel better, whatever the fuck they need, leave them the fuck alone. If it's for a few hours, if it's for a day, if they just need to cool off, they don't want to go out. Oh, like, let's go and do this. This will cheer you up. And they're like, no, I really don't want to do it. No, let's get you up and out. Like, sometimes you just need to fucking listen when somebody tells you they need some time by themselves.
Yeah. When I was in a relationship and we would go through that like phase where like he wanted to just like be alone and just like not be bothered, I'd be like, all right, I'm going out with my friends.
Yeah.
And also too, if they're not okay with that and they're like, no, but like stay home, then you're with the wrong person, because they should be like, all right, like you have fun, like enjoy your time, not even bother you. And like when I was with this person, they'd be like, all right, like have fun, like I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I'm like, oh wow, like that was easy. Like if you want to like be on them and whatever, you're just gonna stress them out even more.
Yeah.
Chances are if you left them alone for maybe like 2 hours, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll come right back. Like you don't need that constant validation of like they need to talk to me all day, every single day. Like why aren't they talking to me? Like
right. I'm his girlfriend. Like he should want to hear from me. I should
listen.
Make
If you guys
him feel
go a
better.
month without talking, okay, sure, there's a problem there. But like a day or two, like there's days where I'm like, I tell my friends, I'm like, nobody bother me for like at least 2 days.
Yeah. And like I said before, if somebody needs that much time away from you, they're obviously going through some shit. So if you genuinely care about them, just let them go.
Yeah.
Go about your time, have your alone time, work on whatever's going through your thoughts about it. Fully depending on somebody else to be happy is probably the worst thing you can ever do.
The worst.
And I'm not sitting here saying like you need to be this boss ass bitch, independent woman, don't need anybody, blah, blah. I'm going to be super like shut off to everybody else. Like, no guys, don't care about dating. It's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is that I don't even know what the fuck. I'm telling you is that you don't. I can't stop looking at Rue's hair right now. Is that
he's talking curly?
Oh, is that you don't need to depend on somebody else in order to be happy or like get through your day. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we all do want to end up with somebody. Yeah. We all do want to have that, not codependency, but we want to have that partner. I would say
that you could like go home to, you know, cuddle with at night.
Yeah. But you have to be okay with not needing to speak to them every hour, every minute, every day.
And even just learning how to still be able to have that alone time even while being with somebody else. Yeah. Like have like a you day, have a girls day. Like if you constantly are with them all the time and like you even want to be with them when they hang out with their boys, like no, like you don't need to go.
Yeah. I had when I was dating one of my ex-boyfriends, he liked to go shooting. And of course, I would like to go shooting. I enjoy shooting, but that's his time. So sure, like we could go shooting every now and then, but if he's going weekly shooting, that's obviously his time for himself. It's the same thing when I go to jiu-jitsu, or same thing when I go and do whatever the fuck by myself. He knows that that's my time. No, I don't want you to join jiu-jitsu and come with me. Yeah. Like, if you want to do it on your own, go find your own fucking academy. Don't come to mine. That is my time to, even though I'm with people, it's still my alone time. Same thing with coming to the gym. I like to work out by myself. And yeah, like these guys are around, but like there are certain things that you need to accept that you don't need to constantly be going with people everywhere. The one thing that drives me nuts is if like you go out with your girlfriends and there's that one girlfriend who's like, oh, can Johnny come? No, why does Johnny have to come on a girls' night?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I feel bad not inviting him.
So he could go out with the boys.
Can Johnny go somewhere else by himself?
Yeah.
So is it that you just don't want Johnny going out with his friends, or you just can't fucking be detached from Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea who Johnny is. I have no idea where that name came from.
It's a random name.
I couldn't think of anything. It's the only male name that came up in my fucking head.
Because you're trying to think of names that aren't already here.
Yeah. I'm like, but yeah, when you invite the person out with you, or that, like I said, you need to be invited everywhere that they're going. Or, I'm going to go to the store really quick. Do you need anything? Oh, I'll come with you. Maybe he just wants to go to the store for 30 minutes so he can be by himself for 30 minutes in the car.
Yeah.
I know that Tut loves driving to Point Pleasant because he likes just being in the car by himself.
Yeah.
So that he's not like surrounded by people anymore. And you need to respect when people just want to be alone for a second, and stop taking everything so offensively when people don't want to invite you at every single place that they're going. Find something else to do.
Yeah.
And I forgot who I was talking to about this, but if you don't have something to occupy your time, and that's why you're constantly looking for a relationship or somebody to hang out with or whatever, that's fine. But find a hobby. Find something fucking random. If you don't know what you like, just start doing random shit by yourself. I love going in the spring, summer, and the fall kayaking by myself. People are like, oh, like, where do you go? Like, I want to come sometime. I'm like, nope, probably not.
For me, it's horseback riding.
Yeah. You like to go and do things by yourself, and you need to be comfortable going out and doing things, just not in your house, like doing a puzzle by yourself. Cool. Go out and enjoy shit by yourself. Be okay not having to, because I know people will like text a group chat. Hey guys, like I'm going to go snowboarding, or I'm going to go kayaking. Does anybody want to come? And when everybody says no, they can't, then you don't go. Why don't you go?
Yeah.
Go by yourself. Be okay walking around in public by yourself. Be okay going kayaking by yourself, going snowboarding by yourself, going to public places and doing things on your own. Like, I know some people that go to, when you could go to movies. Can you go to movies now?
I think so.
Can you go to movies now?
Yeah.
In the theater?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, interesting.
In the state of New Jersey?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But some people go to movies by themselves. Some people just get in the car and drive. And
I like to go drive or go shopping by myself.
I love going. I keep saying, I love doing all these things by myself. I've named like 5 different things, but being okay going out and looking like you're by yourself, you are by yourself. But it's okay, because you shouldn't stop doing life because you have nobody to do it with. And it's not saying that you need a significant other or friend. It's just people were busy that day. Yeah. You shouldn't not go out and do what you want to do. Like, if you want to get dressed up and again, can you even fucking go to a bar anymore? I think that's also what's an issue right now.
You could go to a bar.
Is people, you don't know what you can do anymore.
Yeah.
Now.
And I feel like a lot of people are like just precautious.
Yeah.
You know?
But doing things on your own is so, I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's so empowering, but it's
important.
It's relaxing.
Yeah.
You just feel better. Like, you go outside, you have all these plans for yourself. You don't have anybody else's energy coming in.
And also too, like, I'm a big entertainer. So like, if I'm with someone, I feel like I have to entertain them or make sure they're having fun. So if I know I just want like alone time and then I'm hanging out with someone, I'm like, I gotta make sure that they're having fun, because if they came to hang out with me, then I gotta make sure that I'm living to their expectations of hanging out, instead of just like being alone, listening to the music I want to listen to. Even just like driving in the car, I'm like, do you want to play your music? And I'll just suck it up and listen to it, because like I don't want to be driving my car and like you hating my playlist. Yeah, you get to a certain point where I know for me, I think it's gotten worse in the past years. I was talking to Luke about this the other day, about almost like having a social like threshold where you can only be around like people doing something for a certain amount of time, and you're kind of like, all right, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna go home now. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
And it's okay. You don't have to force yourself to stay out and do something, or, oh my God, like, I'm gonna have FOMO if I don't get to go out and do this, but like I really want to stay home, and then you force yourself out and you're So like, I fucking wish I would have just stayed home.
If I am at like, I mean, back when we were like able to have like little house parties or something, if I didn't get a ride there and like I went with someone who wasn't ready to leave, I'm totally fine just going, hiding and sleeping. Honestly, I can.
At the party?
You know, if like it like not like a bunch of people, if it's like a huge house party, like no, like I'll suck it up. Yeah. But like if it's like a couple of like friends together, like I'd literally fall asleep on my friend's couch.
That's why I said,
and I'd be like, I'm checked out.
That's why I said me and Emily said we're never hosting another get together again.
Oh no.
We hosted on New Year's. We had like our teammates over. These fuckers did not leave until like 3-4 in the morning.
I would have been like, let yourself out. Nope.
And they were a lot of them were so drunk that you had to then babysit so that they would stop being so loud so that we didn't get kicked out of a fucking apartment building. And Emily has a lower social threshold than I do. So Emily's like, So Emily went to bed. I'm still trying to make all these fuckers either leave or pass the fuck out. But once they get to a certain point of being drunk, then none of those happen.
No.
So then it's just like, yep, never doing this again, because at least when you're out somewhere else, you get to leave. If you're hosting and people are not trying to leave, aside from throwing them off of my balcony to get them out, there's nothing. But that's the other thing is like, you want people to have a good time. You want people to like not want to leave because they're having a great time at your shindig. But then you're like, okay, I've had enough fun. Yeah, it's time to go.
If some of my guy friends like come over, they bring their like PlayStation and they'll just like play in my basement. And at some point, like if I'm tired, they're like, "Do you want us to go?" I was like, "I don't care. If I want to go, like I'll go upstairs and go to sleep. Just make sure the door's locked. And like you guys can like let yourself out." But like sometimes if like there's more people and I have like in the summertime like my campfires or whatever, and I have a bunch of people there, and I'm like, "All right, I'm tired. Like fire dies, you leave. Like you guys gotta go."
Yeah. But I know that we spoke a little bit about kind of being lonely while you're with somebody. Being lonely while you're with somebody is probably the worst.
It's probably way worse than being actually by yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, why settle to be with someone who's not fulfilling what you need?
It's not even not fulfilling. It's like, not only are they not fulfilling what you need, but they're also making you sad.
Yeah.
Because when you're with somebody, you expect them to want to see you and want to be with you. And then when you're not getting that reciprocation from that person, again, we talk about when somebody needs space, that's fine. But if it's just an overall thing of somebody not being present with you while you're together with them, you're like, well, what the fuck? You're like, you're the person that's supposed to be making me feel the best. And I don't feel anything with you. And I think that I spoke in last episode that when you think that you love somebody, you're just like, okay, well, this is just a phase. Like, we'll get past it. Like, we'll work on it. I love him. So, like, I'd rather be upset with him than without him.
No.
I can't be without him. You can be without him. And the time right after a breakup, when you're by yourself, is probably the toughest time for somebody when they're alone. Because then all the thoughts of worth and all the memories that were happy, you're like, what happened there? You start questioning yourself and all this shit. And I think that's the hardest time of being alone, is when it makes you question yourself and your value. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle with after a breakup, being alone. And I think that's the time when people most try to distract themselves by going out, by trying to meet somebody new, by putting new things up on their Instagram to get attention from outside people, rather than sitting, thinking about what truly was going on, why you're unhappy. And instead of taking it on yourself as this was your fault or you're not good enough, it was this person literally just did not care to put in any effort for this, or they just genuinely did not care for me. And that's not something, it's not something to be sad about, but it's not something to get worked up about.
It's like, why you can get somebody else that will care about you, but also too, which we have talked about, when you get out of a relationship and you're just hopping right into another one, like you're not fully getting over
No.
and then you're not taking, you're bringing those problems into the next one because you're just molding them together.
That person is going to then deal with something that they didn't even start. So taking the time after a breakup, and that's why you always see the like revenge bod, or if you ever want to see a girl get in the best shape of her life, just break her heart. So heartbreak and being alone, if used productively, can just accelerate you, motivate you, and all of that. But it takes being okay with being alone and thinking about your self-worth and thinking about what is going to make you secure in the time that you're now going to be alone, because jumping into the next relationship just to fill a void, just to make you feel better, isn't going to be the answer.
And even seeking attention too. Like when I'm going through something, I'm not even posting on Instagram.
I think the worst thing that you can do after a breakup and when you're alone is just to seek attention, because it's so hollow. And then you get it for a second and then it's literally like a fucking drug. Yeah. It's literally like, okay, I got this. Now like my high is done from it. Now I need to go get it again. And now I need to go get it again. And then that's when you start to look desperate. And that's when you start to look like you're reaching for anything to make you feel better again.
That and those emotions and that energy that you're putting into trying to find someone to fill a void and just like give you attention, you literally could sit in front of a mirror and give yourself. Just focus on you. Like do things like plan your day, almost like date yourself.
Yeah. And I think that doing, not like making lists or stuff, but we talk about being distracted or keeping yourself busy until your time will help you get over everything. But keeping yourself busy in a productive way where it shows you more of your value. So I know for me, when like I stop seeing somebody or when I go through a breakup, me getting back into my routine and going about my day and checking things off of my list, it just makes you feel better. Yeah. Checking off different things off of a list that you have accomplished, completed, anything like that sets off, we talked prior, different chemicals in your body where you're making yourself feel better rather than like wallowing in somebody that didn't care about you. And then just, again, becoming more and more okay with being with yourself and accepting like, I'm okay. I'm literally okay where I am, sitting alone. I don't care if I have to go on a hike by myself. I don't care if I have to go kayaking by myself. I don't care if I have to go this by myself. I love being around myself so much because when I'm alone in my apartment, I'm a fucking weirdo and I love being by myself because it's when I'm the most free. It's when I'm the most myself. And one day somebody will come along who I can do this in front of. Yeah. And they fucking love it. And they just enhance what everything's going on. So being okay after that heartbreak, that breakup, that loss, it just takes time. Yeah. But you can't prolong the time by filling it with bullshit.
Then you'll end up molding yourself to be everybody else's standard instead of just being you. Like those times where like you could be in your room dancing, doing weird stuff. Like that's you. And you love yourself for that. Yeah. So then when you do find somebody that you can be yourself, you're like, wait, I'm me. Versus like you get out of a breakup. Let me go to this person. Let me go to that person. Let me go to that person. You're just literally molding yourself into whatever those people like. And you don't know who you are.
And you're like, oh, it didn't work out that type of person. Let me go and try and date this type of person, even though I don't like anything about them. Yeah. But maybe that'll work out better. Maybe. And then you start to like change around even what you're looking for. You're like, oh, well, maybe this guy was like this. So I shouldn't look for somebody like him anymore. And we get into this listy thing again of, well, I need to stay away from people who are like my ex. So then you avoid any single person that actually could give a fuck about you because you're just like, no. Just fucking be by yourself. Go do shit by yourself.
Yeah. Date yourself.
Rue eats cheese in front of a refrigerator every week by himself. Is that part of your cheese today? Is it in your nose?
No.
All right, guys. So we're gonna move on. Fitness and beauty tip. Courtney's got her. Wait,
What?
Stop. We should make Courtney do something with her hands.
What should I do with my hands?
Since Rue asked last time.
Should I just do a hair flip or something?
Does Courtney do anything before she gives a beauty tip?
Oh my God. Side note, my niece her hair like got really long. So now she's like big on flipping her hair and I crack up. I'm like, like the little diva. Like she was showing us her push-ups the other day and she gets up and just like flips her hair and like looks at us. And I was like, oh my God.
That's beauty gains all wrapped into one. Push-ups into hair flip. I'll get.
She's gonna take over.
She's it. Get her on.
I'm gonna start her on Instagram. So beauty tip. So I've posted before about like this enzyme facial that I got. So pre me getting Botox, I did get Botox. I caved. I had like I caved.
Courtney literally texted me. We had released an episode where we were talking about not getting any work done or not getting any treatments done or things like that. And then a week later, after it had released, Courtney texts me and she goes, I caved and I got Botox. I'm like, Courtney, we literally just dropped an episode of you saying that you
listen, not that I needed it and I was still happy with myself without it. I got a really good offer to go try it out. And I was like, whatever, I want to try it out. And I really do get bad migraines. And I've told you about this. And honestly, I haven't got, knock on wood, I haven't gotten a migraine since I got it. It's crazy. Yeah. Are you're just like,
I'm trying to figure out any sort of science behind that.
I asked him and he said because like your muscles are just like frozen. So like I guess because I'm not using my facial muscles too much.
Oh my God. I still don't know about that.
Anyway, so pre-Botox, I still get it anyway. There's this enzyme.
Did you hear the science behind why Botox doesn't give you migraines anymore?
It paralyzes your muscle. I don't know.
Keep going.
She's done with me.
Move on.
She's done with me right now. Anyway, so I get this enzyme facial and it like works like pretty much like underneath the skin and it helps bring oxygen to the surface. So it helps with like wrinkles. I wrote it all down. Hang on, guys. Let me just pull out my notes.
I'm trying staring at her forehead, figuring out why her muscle's not working. Helps with her brain that's underneath her skull. That's in between.
Anyway, so the benefits of it removes dead sins. Hopefully it does. Removes
all the sins are
removed.
All sins removed through this facial, guys. Rue, you should go get one.
Removes dead skin cells, stimulates circulatory system and your lymphatic flow. So it removes like puffiness from your face. It brings oxygen to your skin, stimulates collagen production, strengthens your facial muscles, which apparently I probably need now.
So you're going reverse. So you're getting Botox to paralyze them, and then you're getting this facial to make them moving again.
I do still get this facial, but it really does tighten your skin. I'll post a video so you guys can see. I call it the mummy facial because you look crazy. Like when it when it dries on your skin, it feels like there's cement on your face. Like you feel like it pulsating. Like it's I can't even describe it. Like you have to get it so you can feel it. Okay. But afterwards, like your skin's glowing.
I'm trying so hard not to laugh anymore because I have to pee so bad. And I think if I laugh anymore, I'm going to pee.
So pretty much it creates like a plasmatic effect and it creates like the blood flow, helps like lymph nodes and the lymphatic drainage.
You have to stop talking like that because I'm going to pee my pants. What's that, Rue?
But yeah, I'll post a video and I'll show you guys this facial.
Oh my God.
I'm checked out.
I'm to the point of hands in between my son's legs. I have to pee so bad. Okay, so my fitness tip is going to happen very fast because I have to pee so fucking bad. So I said earlier that I was going to talk about deloading. I just made a post on this earlier, and deloading is literally you just decreasing the intensity of your workout. So if you're doing, not especially, but different programs or different like fitness routines call for different types of deloads at different times. So a deload is, again, just you bringing down the intensity of a workout so that your body can recover. So we talk about all the time how your muscles break down and then they build back up. And that's how you start to get stronger. That's how all these different things happen for your body with the different protein synthesis that happens. But if you continue to break down your muscles over and over and over again, and there's no break in it, then your body's not fully adapting the way that it could, right? So if you're doing a very intense program and you feel like you're getting fatigued and you're getting weaker than you were, or you just can't get through this week's lifts at all, you feel like you've got nothing left. Your motivation to be there sucks. So there's all these different signs of like, it's not always necessarily overtraining, but it's time for your body to take a break. So sometimes in different programs, it's about like 4 to 6 weeks that if you start noticing like, okay, I'm just not getting through my workouts anymore. I can't do the weight that I was doing. I can't do what's prescribed for me this week. Like, I just feel like shit. And sometimes you get that within a mix of life. You're stressed out. You're not sleeping well. This is or this. You're just not recovered enough to do the workouts. So if you have a coach or if you have a trainer and you have, like right now, me and Tut are on a deload week. And sometimes when you're feeling good, you're just like, I don't want to do a deload. But it's prescribed in certain programs after a while, because if you were to continue this, you would end up feeling these symptoms of kind of overtraining or just too much challenge to the body without a break. So in your head, a lot of people are like, well, you're supposed to push through things. You're supposed to push yourself to fatigue. It's good. It's good that your body's feeling fatigue. That means it's working. No. Once your body gets to a certain point of overtraining or fatigue, then your body just starts to give up. And then your training is going to start sucking. So you need to incorporate different deloads, and you don't have to take off. That's what the point of the deload is you don't need to take off of your routine. You just need to tone it down. So bring down the reps, bring down the weight, bring down just if it's plyometric, maybe you're not doing the jumping anymore. You're taking time off from those fibers. So again, there's a difference between pushing yourself through a workout that's hard and noticing that your joints feel like shit. Your muscles aren't recovering fast enough. You yourself are just not motivated, period, to do what you've been doing. So if you're starting to feel that way, think about the last time you took a break. Yeah. Think about the last time that you had some time off. And that's besides having days off incorporated into your week. So again, after a while of doing intense exercise or just challenging exercise, which you're supposed to be doing, sometimes you just need a break. And it's me telling you right now, it's okay to take a break, but don't make it an excuse every other week. Oh man, I'm super sore. I didn't sleep well last night. Like, I need a deload. It's not something to make an excuse. It's something to be put into your routine. And if you put it regimentally into your routine, then most of the time you'll avoid feeling that fatigue and avoid feeling that exhaustion if you incorporate it in your routine already. So again, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to throw a deload week in here. Yeah. But if you have a coach or a trainer or if you're feeling those symptoms, maybe it is time to just see what you're doing. Take a break if you need it. Just like take your break from people if you need it. Oh, yeah. Take your boundaries. Be alone.
Love it.
Love it. All right, guys. Thanks for coming back. I had to pee so bad, so we're going to go.
Thank you to our sponsors, FT Performance Labs, Glow Commando, No Windy Sleeves.
Check you later.
Bye.